Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again. I want to welcome you all to the Lenny Robbins YouTube channel. Know your politics. Let's come together to create a better understanding by watching and listening to what politicians say so we can better watch what they do. It's important. I can't stress this, and I'll no more. But I'll ever use every opportunity I get to say, watch what they do. I want to take this opportunity to make a few comments. I'm just musing around with a couple of things, and some things forming just coming to mind. And I think I should share this because the election, both parties are in election mode, and they are promising the country downtown and parade, left, right, and center, all over the place. When most of them know they won't even know the road to downtown or downtown, much more to get to parade. When the real governance comes up after election. One moment, please. Having said that, I want to go back to the budget speech by Miss Favour Williams. And again, Miss Williams, I want to congratulate you for being the first woman to lead off on a budget debate, budget presentation in Jamaica. That is great. That is good. But coming out of that budget, Miss Williams, this is my opinion. I mean, other people have said all that stuff, and there are people who agree with my opinion, other people who still, I'll multifaceted understanding is came out of that budget. But from my perspective, there was really nothing in that budget that gives people real hope that the future is bright and will be bright. But a lot of fancy talk, a lot of smoke screen, and a lot of feel-good story came out of it. But the worst part for me that how disrespectful you were. This might frighten you to hear me say that, any Labour Party supporters or whatever. But you were very disrespectful. And I want to take you back to your throwback speech. Because all the promise you made in that budget, Miss Williams, you knew very well, and the government knows very well, that none of you can predict what world economy situation is going to be like in the next 1 year. The next year from now, none of you have any foresight to understand or to predict what's going to happen in the world economy. Because as it is right now, you all know and sense the danger where the country is. Jamaica, I'm talking about, where we are right now. I started this YouTube program last year, March, and ever since I've started this program, I've been saying this loud and clear because I recognize this. Even before last year, I recognize this from about 2022, that the country, Jamaica, is in an existential crisis. Other experts who are economists by profession and all of these things, and political experts in Jamaica, and people have more experience in the political arena than I am, have said it. Have indicated the same thing in a different way. But when I say it's in an existential crisis, by extension, what I mean is the country, if Jamaica is not in a recession, it is heading into a recession. It is heading into a recession. And I can tell you, Miss Williams, I use one yardstick to measure that. One yardstick. There's a lot of infrastructure development taking place, but no growth. How is that possible? A lot of infrastructure development has taken place, but there's no real growth in production. What are we producing? And when you mention in your, well, that is what I use from 2022 to determine that the country is in an existential crisis. If it's not going into a recession, it's not in a recession, it's heading into a recession. That's what I mean by existential crisis. I remember a lot of people at the time tell me I have no sense, I don't know what I'm talking about and all that thing. Only to hear the very same people now come around to tell me, say, boy, you have a foresight. You know what you were talking about. Things is not as they make it out, as you guys are making out to be as politicians. And this is why I'll always try to use this opportunity when I get here to implore Jamaicans home and abroad, really. Take a time to listen to your politicians. Because we need to watch what they do. Watch what they do. You understand? Watch what they do. It's important. Now, we all know, Miss Williams, that you and I know this. And a lot of people know it, but they won't speak it. And both PMP and JLP from both sides know this. That whichever party forms the next government is not going to have a good time, or a great time, or either time. You will have a difficult time to govern the country, whichever party forms the next government. There will be no honeymoon for the next party. Even the current administration, if they are elected, there will be no honeymoon for them. Because they themselves, along the way, have made so many promises. And as we talk about promises, Mr. Andrew Holness, I must raise this before I forget it. The groundbreaking ceremony that took place March 2024 out in Content District, St. Catherine, which I understand is out by Damed for that 22 billion water treatment plant. The money which was the funding for that plant, which came at a time when interest rate is high. I have not heard the government mention anything about it. In your budget speech, nothing was mentioned about it in the budget. But I'm hoping, sir, as suggested, it's a 2-year project. From 2024, expected to finish 2026. We can give you up to June. So we have another year for that to finish. I would say there's another full year for that to finish, Mr. Prime Minister. And I'm not taking my eye off that ball. I'm not taking my eye off of that ball and the promises that was made about the deliverance of that plant and the benefit it's going to bring to over 600,000 Water Commission customers when completed. I'm not taking my eye off the ball. Let me use this opportunity again to say to Jamaicans, please, please, watch what politicians do. Listen to what they say, watch what they say, and on top of that, most importantly, watch what they do. The budget speech really didn't reflect any real promise. Anything that people can hold on to say, yes, this is going to be, this will be, this seems possible, this is a possibility. It's all feel-good smokescreen stories that we're hearing. Oh, we're going to do this, we'll do this. And it's about JLP and PMP. And I've said it before. The PMP has done everything to lose this election. And the JLP is doing everything to hand PMP the victory. Hear this. There's a difference, you know. The PMP has done everything to lose the election. If the JLP keep their mouth shut, they win the election by a country mile. But they too are doing everything to hand PMP the victory. Because the realization is, they recognize that any one of them form the next government is going to have a difficult time to govern the country. You understand? But power is sweet, so everybody wants to be in the chair. Because they know once they're there for 5 years. And power is sweet. There's no recall because we missed that opportunity at the constitutional reform. We missed that opportunity at the constitutional reform. There's no recall and no impeachment for any politicians. So once they get in power for the next 5 years, how does life want to be? They will be there until they call election. So the opposition, whoever is in opposition at the time, can preach and curse all they want. They can't remove that ruling government. And ladies and gentlemen, Jamaicans all over, we must recognize that the hardship and the struggle is not going to be on the heads or the shoulders of the politician. It's going to be our heads, our shoulder, our generation, our children, their children. They are the ones who are going to bring the brunt of the situation. And it's difficult. It's important that we now start to take our political life serious. And with election coming up, it is what it's going. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. And I was listening to Ralston Hyman and his program, and as he says the government is lying. The government is really lying. Mr. Andrew Holness, you know that. Favour Williams, you know that. All of you guys in the jail, Labour Party, you know the government is really lying to the people. And I say you're lying because you're in governance and you need to be truthful. More than the opposition party. You need to be more honest than the opposition party. You need to be less deceitful than them. You need to be less misinformative than them. You need to be more honest than the PMP with the people you are in governance for. You're not telling the people the truth, sir. Because in truth and in fact, we need to have honesty from our government, both from JLP and PMP. And the promises you're making to Jamaicans right now, you know that won't be able to, that is not achievable. Considering what is happening in the world economy right now. Considering what other countries, 180 countries are doing right now across the world. That Jamaica cannot operate in isolation. We can't. We don't have the resources nor the know-how to do that right now. We don't have it. We don't have the backbone for that, sir. We have nothing to do. So we have to be honest and be fair to the people. And I say that against the backdrop, Mr. Holness, and I'm going to say this to all Jamaicans who doesn't and have never heard this speech. Go to YouTube, go to Google and type in a speech that was given by the Premier of Singapore. Premier of Singapore speech about the tariff war. Listen to that speech by the Premier of Singapore. Then you will understand why your government is lying to you. Then you'll understand what honesty from government is all about. Then you'll understand that not only should you listen to your politician, but you must watch what they do. I'm going to say something too. I'm going to read something here. This was published in the Daily Gleaner. On the 11th of March, the headline read, Holness signals reboot of Jamaica's global services sector. During an address to the 2025 Outsource to Jamaica conference in Montego Bay on the 10th, the day before. A conference which was attended by local and international stakeholders. Now, the Holness administration is aimed at making a bold transformation, coupled with a renewed ambition to reinvigorate Jamaica's BPO sector, which is the business process outsourcing and the global service sector. As stated by the Prime Minister, he articulated that not only is Jamaica preparing for the future is currently now being embraced. He made the point of creating a digital-first, skill-driven economy. In other words, what he's saying, these are what was published in me. In other words, what was saying Jamaica is delivering the future presently. Now let me ask this question. This is all great and good. For anybody hear this would say, wow, this is wonderful. Digital, what you call it? Digital-first, skill-driven economy. Right? This is all great, all wonderful. All great, all wonderful. But how will we achieve this, Mr. Holness? And the box are what? What's the support for this? Where's the support structure for this? Where's the support structure going to come from? You tell me what foresight you have to determine what the economy is going to be, world economy will be like in a year's time. You don't have that knowledge, sir. Your finance minister don't have that knowledge either. None of us have the foresight to see that. None of us. So what are we promising Jamaica? These are all us feel-good story for the time being. Feel-good story you're making, sir. And this is why I'm saying you need to express and tell and be honest with the nation. These are great plans, yes, of course. But how will it be sustained? How will it be? Where's the finance coming from? Where's the resources coming from for us to do this kind of expansion at this time? When world economy is in a crisis, where is it going to come from? Is it power so sweet that we rather be in power and watch a country destroy than to be honest about it, lie to get back in power, than to be honest and get back in power? Which is a better position for you? He continued with the growth of the global services sector, which employs more than 52,000 Jamaicans. Rather than wait or allow any disruption that can be caused by emerging technologies such as AI, the artificial intelligence, the sector is evolving to integrate digital innovations, with many of the companies in the sector expanding into KPO. Now, KPO is knowledge processing outsourcing. Knowledge process outsourcing, which in essence means the practice of outsourcing high value knowledge intensive tasks to special service providers. KPO. We are integrating our digital innovation with many of the companies in the sector, which are now expanding into KPO, knowledge process outsourcing, which in essence will mean that the practice of outsourcing high value knowledge intensive tasks to specialized service providers. You understand? So we are giving out information intensive business activities such as data analysis, marketing research, financial management, things like that, as it relates to our KPO, or knowledge process outsourcing. So what in essence he's saying, we don't have the expertise, we don't have the knowledge, so we have to outsource these kind of intensive tasks to specialize, this knowledge intensive tasks to specialized service providers outside of the country. Now, what will it cost us? What will it cost us? There's a plan afoot, to destroy the US dollar, Mr. Wellness. And I'm quite sure you guys know this. I'm quite sure you guys are well aware of this. There's a plan to devalue the US currency, right? Now, as related by the Prime Minister, KPO and IT enable service support sector, so KPO. You understand? Technological enabled service support services that support sectors such as financial tech department, healthcare, logistic, supply chain management, and all of those things. His contemplation now in all of this is not where Jamaica can compete, but how Jamaica can lead. In response to his comment to create a digital first skill driven economy, his administration has outlined a multifaceted approach that is focused on workforce development, digital transformation, and infrastructural investment. Now, you see how wonderful these plans are, ladies and gentlemen. And if you sit down and read and listen to these plans, you will readily run with it and say, oh yes, the Prime Minister is the greatest, is the best thing for Jamaica. But remember, we are not an economy that operates alone by ourselves. Our economy operates within another economy. And it's important that we understand that we must look behind what they are saying. We must dig deep into what they are saying. These are all feel-good stories to get back into election. I've been saying it ever since you know what? Let me leave that for a little, Mr. Prime Minister, because there's a lot more to research on that matter. So I'm gonna digress from that a little and move into something else. Because I've been saying this from Mark Rubio visited Jamaica, that I know the Prime Minister is gonna put off the election. We're expecting it to be called in September, but it can't be called because I think the government has been placed in an untenable situation by the Trump administration. And the Jamaica PM, you're not ready to call election yet. And Miss Mallahu, fourth-year Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, came out and made a speech explaining, because there were whispering going on around about whether or not the Prime Minister is going to call the election on time or delay the election, calling the election for another time and all of that. And she came out to explain what right you have, what the law says, and the parameters in which you can operate with the election, either call it or delay it. And in truth and in fact, what she explained to the nation was correct. You're operating within the law as far as that is concerned. But that's not the reason why, in my opinion, that is not the reason why she came out to say what she said. I honestly believe, as I've said before, that she came out to say that because she wanted to get it to the minds of people. Get it into the minds of people that even if you delay the election for a later date, it is your right. The law says you can do it. And he wants everybody to understand that, Mr. Prime Minister, because you know you're not going to call it September. It's going to be delayed. And if you don't call it between September and November, you won't call it December to interrupt that holiday. Because whatever little tourist is coming in during the Christmas season, you don't want to interrupt that. Because the US dollar now is getting scarcer for Jamaica, and it's important to hold on to as much as you can. It is important to hold on to as much as you can now. Because tourism in America is now taking a nosedive. You understand? People are not traveling to America like one time again. And people are not even traveling out of America like under this administration like one time again. And that signaled to me from January, sir. I visited Jamaica in January and I went to the airport. No one told me about this, but when I was leaving, lucky thing I had money on me. Because when I got to the airport and went to pay for my luggage, check in my luggage, I had to pay for that. I was told I can't pay for it in Jamaican currency. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you all to know, and all travelers know this now, you can't pay for your luggage at Jamaica, leaving Jamaica again. You have to have US dollars to pay for it for leave Jamaica. Because when I went there, they sent me to a booth. I must use the Jamaican dollars and buy US dollars to check in my luggage in Jamaica. And I'm leaving Jamaica. And our local currency is not US dollar. So they are doing everything. The government is doing everything quietly to gather as much US dollar as they can. Because they know what I'm talking about. China, Japan, and all those places, they're doing everything farming blocks to devalue, to tear down the value of the US dollar, to make it worth nothing, and make things easier for them. Because of this tariff war that Donald Trump is raging against the world without any cause, or for no reason. So you're well aware, Mr. Prime Minister, of all these things, I'm quite sure, so you're doing everything. But you must be honest with the people. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do this in 2 parts and I have to go now. But I want to remind you, go to YouTube or Google or type in the speech by the Premier of Singapore about the tariff war that is presently going on in the world right now. Listen to that speech and you will hear an honest Prime Minister and a real Prime Minister who loves this country and is prepared to lead this country speak. Our politicians are not ready. Neither PNP nor JLP. None of them is ready and none of them going to make Jamaica what it is or what it should be. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope I'm making a couple of sense or a little sense here. I just want to reach out to people. Oh, before I go, Maverick. Mr. Maverick, I hear sometime. I listen to your thing. I always listen to you on TVJ before I left Jamaica and all them thing there. But I heard you on YouTube just the other day, buddy, with a quick thing. And I just want to tell you something. I want to shed a light on what you said. When you said Andrew Holness should not be campaigning on promise, he should be campaigning on performance. You're right, but that kind of campaign strategy is back in the 70s and the 80s, boss. And them things don't work now. It's the same thing that Donald Trump swept the last election last year in November. People don't worry about what Biden was doing. Biden was repairing the economy and repairing it in a very good way. The economy was in good stead. Good stance. Growing and everything. Job go down, everybody's sector and start to pick up. But people not worried about what will happen. It's more important to them what is going to happen tomorrow. You understand? So the mindset of people now are voters is not about what gone, is what is coming. And the promises they look forward to for tomorrow is what they're going to hold on to and what is going to drive their decision to vote and who to vote for. So I just want to throw that out there, Maverick. People don't worry about last week or last year or 2 years ago. They don't worry about tomorrow in their life now because that's more important to people politically now than anything else. Even when you do good for them, they don't care about that. If somebody can promise them something better than you, they will grab and think and grab onto what is promise, what the better promise, in other words. And that's just what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, I just want to use this opportunity to welcome all Jamaicans once again to the Lenny Robbins channel. You know what? Know your politics. I beg you. Try something. Try something to know your politics. So we all can come together and make this and create a better understanding for each other. Make it a better place for us to come together and understand each other. You understand? So we can start to watch and listen what politicians do and also watch what them do. It is important. Very, very important. There's no point cursing out PNP or cursing out JLP because they're the two entrenched parties in the country. So if a PNP lead, Labour Party are the opposition. And if a Labour Party lead, PNP in the opposition. I don't know what the UIC is doing out there. I don't hear anything from them. I don't do nothing. Try to contact you, Mr. Patterson, but I don't hear nothing from you. I don't get no feedback. It is what it is. But I'm sure you guys, these two parties are such loggerheads party right now. And their recognition and ratings are so far down in the doldrums that a big gap is opening up. Open up in the middle for a third party to just walk in and make some inroads into their support base. Make inroads into both JLP and PNP support base. But you can't come with the same thing that they're coming with, brother. You have to find a new way to reach the people. You can't come with a promise to people. You have to prove to people that you're here to deliver, not to make a promise. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Jamaica. Sorry about the Lenny Robbins YouTube show. I love Jamaica so much, believe you me. I'm not gonna give it up for anything. Know your politics, let's come together, create a better understanding for each other. Watch what they do. One love Jamaica, blessed love. You know, and for all Jamaicans who is around and alive wherever we are, whether you're sick, as long as you're alive and everything, I wish you all the best. Stay safe and just make certain vote. I encourage you to vote, support the vote. But just know that any party becomes the next government is going to have a hard time. So you have to know which party you are going to vote for. Satisfy yourself that this is the best party to cast your vote for, and then go cast your vote. Ladies and gentlemen, Lenny Robbins YouTube channel, over and out.